think if they are feeling pain about what others say about them, it should tell them there are people who feel pain when they write falsehood about others.
Meanwhile, the Kenya Union of Journalists and Editors Guild have demanded that the government protects them from attacks from government officials who feel incensed when the Fourth Estate exposes rot in the government.
The government should respond to concerns by Kenyans on the scandals exposed by the media in the past 10 months, which include diversion of condemned sugar into the market, repackaging and sale of subsidized fertilizer. Muomba Rais aweze kusimama na ambie wa Kenya hadharani na ulimwengu mzima kwamba matamshi ambayo wanayaweka pale endapo ndio msimamo wa serikali, kwa sababu inashusha hadhi ya Kenya na ni kitu ambacho kinastahili kusiti.
This coming hours after charges preferred against a journalist arrested while covering demonstrations outside Parliament were dropped. According to the charge sheet, police claim the journalist was holding up a placard with inciting statements. His lawyers, led by Dansan Omari, said they will demand justice for wrongful arrest and detention.
One is called Daniel Onsare Nyagaka, who works for which other media station? He works for the media. He had his press card. He was covering demonstrations of Kenyans against the finance bill. He tried to explain to the police that he's a journalist. He is accredited by the entities that allow media to practice. He was arrested. He slept in the police cells. He was brought today in court. A charge sheet was drafted. We got that charge sheet. We wrote a letter to the Director of Public Prosecution and copied to the Kenya Union of Journalists and the Media Council. This, to us, is not an accident. There is a serious orchestrated campaign to attack the media. The state withdrew the charges. They were never brought to court, but we shall still pursue because we have a charge sheet which was a clear intention. We shall also be seeking for redress for then unlawful confinement. The media person, Daniel, stayed in police cells for 24 hours.
The friction between the media, the government, and even the opposition has become a commonplace in the country. Well, who's going to blink first?
Now, still with Moses Kuria, the Cabinet Secretary for Trade and Investments, Moses Kuria has distanced himself from the edible oil importation scandal, claiming that the media is being used to taint his ministry's image. According to the CS, the Kenya National Trading Corporation, KNTC, was allowed to import edible oils as a way of reducing the high cost of edible oils in the country. Speaking before the Senate Business Committee, the Cabinet Secretary has reiterated his commitment to fighting corruption in the ministry and has since been condemned for attacking the Nation Media Group after an expose that has seen Kenyans lose approximately 5.6 billion shillings that claimed 5 companies enjoyed a monopoly in the previous regimes at the expense of taxpayers.
Receive any funding from the exchequer for that purpose. So the procedure runs as follows. 1, in accordance with the timelines indicated by the clients, the manager of the sales division raises and signs appropriate purchase requisitions to initiate the procurement process. B, the manager sales division, with the support of the supply chain division, shall at the same time prepare specifications for the items to be procured. The experts in the department then they develop specifications or establishment of an internal team to prepare the specifications. C, the purchase requisition.
And finally still not achieve the objective of wanting to reduce the prices for failure for them to supply. So what will you do? Because you have said it's a challenge, but Kenyans are looking upon you to look for a solution to that situation. What will you do?
Proceed to respond.
Mr. Speaker,
yes.
This is a very unfortunate time, or this came at a very difficult time when this decision was being made, because we didn't have food. And moving forward, I have said in many forums that it is my desire to ensure that we are able to feed ourselves, because even in some countries that I've been to, some countries are more concerned, and which I agree with them, about the food security of their people. So for us to end this problem completely, we have to find how we can be able to produce food for ourselves and run away from reliance on imports. Mr. Speaker, I think very well, because
Now, President William Ruto has reiterated his government's commitment in supporting sporting activities in the country. Speaking during this year's rally shakedown in Loldia and the KWS Training Service Park in Naivasha, Nakuru County, the president has noted that the government will continue partnering with sporting organizations and maximize on the potential of sports to promote social and economic development in the country. Thousands of rally enthusiasts are expected to flood Naivasha as rally drivers will be showcasing their wheel skills.
This thing is crazy. It's absolute madness. I mean, but it's an experience you cannot forget. I mean, the sheer speed, you can hardly see the road, you can hardly see the bend. And these guys are really professional. It is out of this world. And it's a life-changing adventure. If you ask me whether I want to do this again, I'm not sure. Because it's quite something. But I think it is. It speaks to training, people who are professional at what they do. And I want to say the men who do this are real champions. You know, they deserve every respect that they have. They deserve our commendation. And it's really something out of this world. It was my first time in a rally car, my first time. And hopefully I will assemble myself and do this again, maybe another time. So otherwise it was a great experience. Very excited and very good.
Siaya Deputy Governor William Odwol has appeared before the 11-member Senate committee conducting his impeachment case. And Odwol expected to defend himself against the allegations that has since left him at the mercy of a team of 3 lawyers led by Paul Nyamodi. This comes barely days after all the 42 members of the Siaya County Assembly voted to remove him from office. The embattled Siaya Deputy Governor will know his fate by Sunday, 25th June 2023, after the committee chaired by the Elgeyo Marakwet Senator William Kisang finalizes its report on the charges leveled against Odwol.
So, Mr. Chair, you find that on that motion, even the report, it's very clear on a general administrative, it was not a censure or anything. There was nothing that was needed to be achieved by that motion other than getting information.
I'm constrained again. The issue of that report does not feature in his witness statement, and we have no notice of that evidence. And so, like I said, the purpose of the witness statement is to give notice.
Witness, can you please restrict yourself,
Mr. Chair,
to your statement?
I think Council Nyamodi hasn't read his documents. That report, which is alleging is new, is contained in volume 2 of our bundle of documents. Actually, it's the second last document in the bundle of documents.
The report is produced with no context. Now the witness is attempting to give it context. That's my point. It was up to him to give it context in his witness statement so that we have notice.
So please, Francis.
The Chair, I don't know how to go about it, but then through your guidance, how I wish that the learned friend tells us that the statement is just a guidance and it cannot contain everything that I wanted to say. It's my guidance to how I'm going to present mine, but not everything that I'm going to say.
What I want you to do, can you please restrict with yourself to the written statement? When we are doing cross-examinations, you can bring that background. In fact, what you just said, I wish, while you are doing the preliminary earlier, it would have been done. But just restrict yourself so that also, the counsel for the DG is going to eat into your time if you don't restrict yourself. I'm just trying to help you so that you adjudicate this thing properly.
Thank you, Chair. Standing guided.
Which page is it?
Chair,
the report.
Kind permission for purposes of record.
For the page.
Yeah, Chair, on this sort of procedure legally, when you go strictly the way the counsel for the DG is saying, then it means then you go by affidavits only. But when he's giving the report.
Well, those were the happenings at the National Assembly, and of course that is a story that we'll be very much keeping an eye on, because whatever report will be tabled at the National Assembly or at the Senate will be debated by the senators, and then they will therefore make a vote on whether to impeach William Oduol as the deputy governor or not. And so that is a very key conversation. Now, if he is impeached, the governor is at liberty to pick another candidate or just appointment to the deputy governorship position. So we'll be keeping tabs with that and see how it develops from there. So let's take a look at what is happening on the newspapers this morning. The headlines, what are they saying? The Daily Nation revealed cooking oil and rice tycoons. Cooking oil and rice tycoons. Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria yesterday tabled a list of 11 companies contracted by the Kenya National Trading Corporation to import various commodities in a plan to lower food prices. 4 of them, which bagged 6.85 billion shillings deals, are linked to city businesswoman Mary Wambui. Now, the Puma Holdings Limited company has about 2.5 billion shillings, and it received was contracted to produce cooking oil, rice, beans, or to supply, not produce, but to supply cooking oil, rice, and beans. There's the Chama Holdings, which was contracted to supply cooking oils and bills, and that is at 1.95 billion shillings. The Enterprise Price Limited at 1.2 billion shillings. The Ivetech General Trading Company at 1.2 billion shillings. All companies linked to businessman or businesswoman Mary Wambui. So if Alice, we could get that newspaper on the screen. So accounting normally, that is the question. In documents submitted to the Senate, Moses Kuria claimed that in the 2022-2023 financial year, the company had a lower net income than the previous financial year, despite recording higher turnover from increased sales and having lower expenditure. So a scandal is it? The 22 firms were pre-qualified, but criteria of awarding tenders raises many questions. Mary Wambui, the businesswoman whose 4 companies were awarded the tender, and for cooking oil, or to supply cooking oil, as well as rice. Top of the page as well, food prices, fares to go up as members of parliament vote to increase fuel costs. And by the way, the Finance Bill 2023 was passed at the National Assembly. So all those proposals have been amended, the likes of 5% on digital content creation, 16% on the value added tax, talk about the 1.5% on the housing fund levy. They have all been passed at the National Assembly. So what awaits is the president to ascend it into law, and that will govern the financial year 2023-2024, effective July 1st. Whistleblower in the NHIF Heist Hospital's expose fears for his life. A human rights activist who blew the whistle over hospitals involved in swindling elderly patients through the National Hospital Insurance Fund is fearing for his life after he received threats. And then, of course, Oduol demanded 1 million shillings chair for his office, MCAs say, in that battle at Siaya County. Then Vroom, Ruto flags off WRC Safari Rally. All roads, as they say, will be leading to Vasha this weekend. Question is, are you going? Then to the Standard this morning, Ruto voting machine. Expected showdown in Parliament was neutered by Kenya Kwanza amassing members to support the finance bill, ignoring popular proposals that would have shielded Kenyans from the high cost of living. As they say in football, it was a walkover. No problems, numbers were there, and so it was passed. Kiunjuri, new plan to change composition of Parliament. And he says, which cabinet secretaries are out transforming the country with a new energy. And so the Thrills and Parties action-packed WRC Safari Rally kicks off. Naivasha backs in the glory of hosting the World Rally Championship. And we'll be expecting a lot of action in Naivasha this weekend, as well as Sudi quit school at class 7, court has been told. And Odwal pushed for 18 million shillings for his own comfort. And then finally, the Star newspaper, major test for cabinet secretaries in charge of cash-rich parastatals. And head of public service tells officers to ignore any purported orders from above, quote unquote. Big money sleaze has rocked 3 key state corporations. And so it's a major test for cabinet secretaries who are in charge of parastatals that receive quite a lot of money in the finance bill. And then as well, a safari rally on top of the page just to indicate what we'll be getting up this weekend. Mackenzie's follower dies in police custody. He was fasting, as well as House votes to retain proposed 16% VAT on fuel. And Ruto says, if I condemn Moses Kuria, who'll defend me from what he terms rogue media? So those are the issues making headlines, or key stories making headlines on top of the pages. Now at that point, allow me to take a quick breather. But when we come back, we have an interesting conversation that we'll be putting on the table this morning. Platonic relationships versus friendship. What is the difference? Where the boundaries crossed? What are some of the lines that we need to put out in friendships and relationships that we have amongst ourselves, as well as with the opposite gender? And in studio this morning, I'll be joined by Hemston Fred, as well as Melody Wanjiru, who are already around. So stick around for that conversation coming right up after the break. Stay with us.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe, watazamaji wa EBN. Kwa majina naitwa Pastor Julius Mutuko, na nataka kukaribisha kwa kipindi ambacho tutakuwa tukisikiliza neno la Mungu kila siku ya Ijumaa na Jumamosi kuanzia saa 3:30 jioni hadi saa 4:30 kila siku kwa lisali moja. Na hivyo tukiangazia true worship ama kuabudu halisi, ambapo tukiangalia Biblia kitabu cha Yohana 4:23-24, Yesu alipokuwa akiongea na mwanamke Msamaria, alimwambia wakati unakuja ambapo watu watamwabudu Baba katika roho na kweli. Kwa maana Baba ni roho, ama Mungu ni roho, na yuwatafuta watu kama hao ili wakamwabudu. So Joe nami tukaweze kujua kuabudu halisi ni nini kwa siku hizo. Karibuni nyote in Jesus name.
This Wednesday on EBN Prime Edition.
Hi, I'm Sami Adika.
Hello, praise the Lord. My name is Pastor Joseph Musajawaza of Unfailing Love Ministries. I'm inviting you every Wednesday to join us on our program, Victory Through the Word. In this program, we teach you God's Word. We teach you to find solutions and answers to the struggles of life through the Word of God. Everything you ever go through in life, every pain, every tear, every worry, and every questions that you may ever have in this life. You may not get answers out there, but in God's Word, there are answers and there is a solution. The Bible says that God has exalted His Word above His name. In His Word, there is hope. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but His Word will always remain abide. I encourage you, engage with us as we study together, as you ask your questions, and let your questions be answered as you are built and as you hear God's word. Our church is located in Umoja, Inako, near Olobon Hotel, just off Sango Stage along Moi Drive, and the court is known as Church Court. Give us a visit and your life will not remain the same. God bless you. Let's meet every Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. only on EBN television.
Faith for today is a show to just look at what is going on in your life and what needs the intervention of God in your life.
Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the proof of things we do not see.
We are here for you. We are not here only for ourselves.
We are live every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 a.m. We boost your faith.
It is time to revive your faith.
Faith is for now, faith is for today. God has given us the breath of life.
Your Faith Today, live with Reverend Felix Kavoi.
With great love and joy, I especially welcome you to worship with us at Redeemed Gospel Church Buruburu. This is a true family church, a true spiritual home. Redeemed Gospel Church Buruburu is home to exuberant prayers, deep and true worship. A house of prayer that will leave you feeling refreshed. Our first service starts at 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. and our second service starts at 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Wednesdays, we have our midweek service from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and every Friday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. we have our Night of Glory. This is the church you have been looking for. This is the place for your spiritual growth and maturity. See you this Sunday and karibu sana.
Watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
Starting this Wednesday on EBN Prime Edition.
Hi, I'm Sami Adika.
Faith for today is a show to just look at what is going on in your life and what needs the intervention of God in your life.
Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the proof of things we do not see.
We are here for you. We are not here only for ourselves.
We are live every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 a.m. We boost your faith.
It is time to revive your faith.
Faith is for now, faith is for today. God has given us the breath of life.
Your Faith Today, live with Reverend Felix Kavoi.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Morning Live, and we are so glad that you've made time for us. And we've got a lot that we would love to take on this morning, particularly to do with the topic of the day, to do with platonic relationship versus friendship. What is the difference? Particularly as young people, we tend to have such a social life, talk to a lot of people day in, day out on a daily basis with regards to different issues. But where do we draw the line? Where do we say, now this is a friendship, and then we say, okay, now this is not a friendship, this is a platonic relationship where we can be more than just friends, but nothing more than being just friends. So that is the conversation of today, and we'd love to get your feedback. Join us on our SMS platform, that is 23993. Tell us where you're watching us from, your thoughts with regards to this, as well as on Facebook and on YouTube on EBN TV. Give us your feedback, really. Have you ever been in a position where you've been in a relationship that is more than just friendship, but nothing more than just being friends? You get to share quite a lot with the opposite gender, and we'll be glad to sample some of your feedback just before the end of the broadcast. So my guests are here this morning, and I'd love to introduce them real quick. On my immediate right, I'm joined by Hemston Fred. Thank you so much for coming in. As well as on my farthest right, I'm joined by Melody Wanjiru. Thank you for coming in, both of you.
Welcome.
Now, this is such a conversation starter because you get the question of, as Cynthia, are you willing to share so much with the opposite gender? Not somebody that you'd call your boyfriend or, your partner, but just a friend. And I'd love to begin with you, Melody. Is that something that you will do? Share a lot of your personal life, what you do on a day-to-day basis with somebody who is a male, of course, but in this instant, he's just a friend. Would you do that?
Personally, I would.
You would?
Yeah, I would. Because in every time that we have to look for someone in which we have to share our issues, it doesn't mean that it has to be a female. Even a male can play a part. And if it's issues that we are talking about, we all have this issue of the mental health. If I'm having an issue that is really disturbing me, or it's something that is an inner secret or the dark kind of side of the story, and I have someone that is the male gender, definitely I'm going to talk to that person because I need help. At the end of it all, I need to weigh down the issues that are eating me up.
Now, assuming you had a partner in your life, this is something you could still do with your partner. Why not them? Why this other male friend?
It depends. Maybe that partner that you're having, or rather that partner that I'm having, doesn't understand me. Because in a relationship, it depends if you and your partner are relating well. But if your partner doesn't get to understand you well, you get to find someone else who is ready to understand you.
Fred, let me bring you in here. You have a girlfriend, assuming, or your partner, and you also have a female friend. And you just call them bestie, In fact, that is the term actually people use out here, bestie. You share a lot, where you are, what you do, what you're eating on a day-to-day basis, but this is not somebody that you're romantically involved with. It's just a friend. Is that something that you're comfortable with?
At some point, I can say I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But in the nature of a man, as I can say, it's something that cannot go for a long time. And for a man to have a lady friend that he can share some personal issues, at some point, it's more difficult. And a man will tend to have a man who will get to we share his information, the personal information, and not necessarily a lady. Because for a lady, a man won't be able to share some of the things that happen. Unless this is somebody he is in a relationship with.
And I think that is one thing that perhaps is something that we need to look at as youths, because we tend to have an insight of wanting to be so close to somebody, but then again we don't want to go beyond being so close. And he says as a man he wouldn't be comfortable for a long time. So what if you have your partner and he's not comfortable with you and so sharing so much, because he'd love you to come to them. At the end of the day, that's why they're there, for you to come to them. What happens then?
I guess before even we continue, we have to understand what it means by platonic relationship and friendship. Because in platonic relationship, it doesn't have to be like having romantic gestures. It doesn't have to be kuna rules, as in like there are limits and all that, in as much as there are limits. But when it comes to friendship, I can share. But as much as I'm sharing, I have to be like, are my secrets safe with you?
So where do you draw the line and say, no, this is a friendship, but this is a platonic relationship? Where do you draw the line?
Okay, to be honest, if I get to be comfortable with someone, let's say for Fred, and I get to see like anytime I have a downpour of anything, I'm ready to run to him and talk to him, unlike you as my friend.
Yes.
You might be a lady, we are ladies, and I'm like, no, sharing with you are my secrets safe. But for him, he's ready. But not in terms of any romantic gestures. He's all ready to take my outpour whenever I'm feeling breakdowns, you see. So that's when I draw that line of platonic. And I get to know Cynthia is my friend. But for him, he's more than a friend. I can reach out to him anytime I need help. Yeah, that is emotional.
Yeah. So Fred, from your own understanding, where is the difference between being friends with Fred and having a platonic relationship with Fred? Where does the difference come in?
You know, platonic with platonic, there is deep affection, there is love, there is caring, there is deep intimacy. Like this person, you are free with him, with her. And for you to share information with somebody you're free with, it's easy. And the friendship level is that when you don't trust that person that much. That he is my friend, yes, but at some point,
yeah.
He is my friend, yes, but if it reaches a point of now, I want to pour to her, there's a limit. Because a friend, he or she will go to somebody else, explain. But now, in a platonic relationship, you have the same intentions. You have the same feeling for each other. Like the deep emotional feeling. If I pour down to you, I will get the response that I need.
It's mutual.
It's mutual.
Yeah. You've mentioned intimacy on the platonic relationship. Where does it come in? Because she says no intimacy. You say intimacy. So where does the intimacy come in?
The intimacy that I'm talking about is that deep emotion of caring. Yeah, the deep emotion of caring, not the intimacy of the opposite gender.
Yeah. Maybe we also need to understand what is intimacy here, so that we know, does it come in on the platonic relationship, or it's a complete no-no?
Personally, let's talk about the intimacy when it comes to conversations. And when we talk about the intimacy in conversations, there are intimate things that I have to share with someone, but there are others that I have to be very careful when it comes to friendship. There are things that I call them the dark secrets. I call them the dark secrets that I can't share with you, just a friend, you see. But for Fred, we have been having this journey. It's not like I met him yesterday or maybe a week or a month. It might be a process that we have been working with him as a friend.
So it's a graduation from friends to platonic.
Yeah. So this platonic relationship, it's the friendship, but this friendship has taken a long time. We have been working together with this person in terms of my breakdown, in terms of my happiness, in terms of everything. So it's easy for me to share information, any intimate information with Fred.
And most chances are, if it's a graduation from the friendship to the platonic way, it could end up the relationship way, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so there are those, perhaps they say, but I don't want a relationship. I just want a platonic way. So, you know, it's such a tempting thing because you'll have to, you're growing so close with this person, you're sharing so much with this person, not just you, but also they're sharing a lot with you. So then what? How do we avoid it to get to the relationship way, unless it is an interest that the two of you want, Fred? How do we avoid it from getting to the relationship, romantic one for that matter, and just keep it at platonic?
Okay, you know, when it is a platonic, there are rules guiding platonic.
Rules?
There are rules guiding platonic.
What sort of rules?
like there is trust. You have to make trust with each other. Like, our friendship will be up to this level. Our relationship will be up to this level.
Yeah.
Like we'll be having boundaries that if the boundaries may be visual, it is no longer platonic. When the trust is broken, again it is no longer platonic. So when the duo agrees that our trust, rather our boundaries should be this way, and if we pass the boundaries, it is no longer. And then when the boundaries are broken, it is the platonic relationship is broken, and most likely the trust will not be there.
Yeah. Melody, what boundaries should we put? Because, you know, we keep on saying boundaries, but we need the specifics. Is it like, don't call me past 11 p.m.? I have my boyfriend or my girlfriend on the other hand, so don't call me past 11 p.m. But still, you need to call me when you're in trouble. So what boundaries should we be putting there?
For us to get the boundaries, remember in platonic relationship, you have to be in the same pot. In the same pot, I mean, like your mindset should be targeting the same thing. Because if at all you do not have the same mindset, then you all are different in that relationship. But being in that relationship, the boundaries that we have the communication boundaries. How do you mind speaking to me? Do you care whatever you say to me that is going to affect me? In what ways do you put it? Like, in what tone maybe do you use that? Well, you're communicating to me. Another one, we can talk of emotional boundaries. Are you giving me space? Are you just loading me up with information, or you're just at my space that I can't breathe? So in as much as we are in this relationship of ours of being platonic, is there the boundary of, how did I call it? Is there the boundary of emotional? And then the other one is, how do I say it? Are you respecting me? Is there respect in this relationship? Because if there is no respect, then I don't think we have the need to have this relationship. You see, as I started, I said, it's people in one pot, and in this pot we have to have the same temperature. You see, you don't have to be high and I'm low. If we are that and we have that difference, then we are getting nowhere.
So if I got you right, it's almost an understanding that this is platonic. It's nothing more. Do not look for a relationship from me. I will not look for a relationship from you. And it can be, because, you know, emotions are something that you can't avoid. It changes day in, day out. Today you're sad, tomorrow you're happy. You could be so very fulfilled with this person. I just love how we hang out with Fred. I love how I'm able to share with Fred so much about my life. What happens if the emotions outgrow you and you're starting to feel the romantic attraction to the other person who you're in a platonic relationship with? Does that ruin the whole point of this being platonic?
No. Again, when she was talking about boundaries, the other boundaries that should be there is what we talk about.
What we talk about.
What is our conversation?
If
our conversation is based on things that will trigger our emotion at that level of friendship that is now romantic, it is no longer platonic. Now the boundary here, the major boundary is, I think, is conversation. What are we talking about? Because if I pour out my emotions that will affect my other partner intimately, it will ruin the platonic part of it. And so, when the partner is now conversing with the intention that they are in the same pot, that is now platonic. And when it now spills out, how can I get out? Rather, if I see that it is now going to go into another relationship, how do I know and how do I reject it? Number one, when now we start, remember it was a mutual feeling. We were in the same pot. If I am having a feeling for her, let's say, and I know she's also having the same feeling, it is now graduated from platonic to now relationship, that now romantic one.
Okay.
That is now if the two of us are doing it or are having the same feeling. But now if one is having that feeling, the other party should be able to interject and say, these are our boundaries. I'm seeing you crossing the line. And when you cross the line, it means it is not going to be the way it was. Trust is broken, respect is broken. It is no longer
Platonic. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd allow us to take a quick break. But when we come back, we still have much more to discuss on just the intentions of being in a platonic relationship. Why are we there? Why don't we just keep it at the friendship level? Or if not, why can't we be in a relationship? Why should it just be, let it be platonic? So that conversation is coming up next after the break. But stay with us. Keep your feedback coming in. I can see already some of you started sending in the questions, and we'll be tackling one by one just before we conclude this bulletin. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
For today is a show to just look at what is going on in your life and what needs the intervention of God in your life.
Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the proof of things we do not see.
We are here for you. We are not here only for ourselves.
We are live every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 a.m. We boost your faith.
It is time to revive your faith.
Faith is for now, faith is for today. God has given us the breath of life.
Your faith today, live with Reverend Felix Kavoi.
From Nairobi, Kenya, this is EBN TV.
With great love and joy, I specially welcome you to worship with us at Redeemed Gospel Church Buruburu. This is a true family church, a true spiritual home. Redeemed Gospel Church Buruburu is home to exuberant prayers, deep and true worship. A house of prayer that will leave you feeling refreshed. Our first service starts at 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. and our second service starts at 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Wednesdays, we have our midweek service from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and every Friday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. we have our night of glory. This is the church you have been looking for. This is the place for your spiritual growth and maturity. See you this Sunday and karibu sana.
From Nairobi, Kenya, this is EBN TV.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You are watching Morning Live, quite an intriguing topic this morning, life-changing even, about the platonic relationship versus friendship. What is the difference? What you need to know. So in case you missed the first part, my guests are still here with me in studio. On my immediate right, I'm joined by Hemston Fred, and farthest right is Melody Wanjiru. Two youths who are very vocal on just some of these issues, and that is why we call them here today, for us to engage, share, and just see where is it that we go wrong as young people who are in perhaps romantic relationships or find ourselves in platonic relationships, as well as friendship with the opposite gender, because we tend to confuse these things a lot. Now, there's this term, Melody, that we use out here that I've seen it irritates men quite a lot. Bestie, bestie, bestie. Now, when we say bestie, do we mean like bestie, a friend, or bestie, platonic relationship? What are we always saying?
To be honest, whenever they talk about bestie, it's friendship with benefits to me. I'm sorry to put it that way, but most of the cases, it's normally like that. So bestie to me, it's friendship, but with an extra with an extra sauce. You get, but it's not like platonic. I can't mention it to be platonic because in platonic there are roles. We don't have gestures for any romantic thing, you see. We don't have to be talking about anything to do with love because we are just there to help one another emotionally. For me, yeah.
Fred, for you, when you hear a woman say, "There's a bestie of mine," and to this time she's referring to a male, particularly someone, let's say you're dating, and says, you know, my bestie Mike, my bestie Ian, my bestie this. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Is it just friendship, or is it friends with benefits, as she says, or is it a platonic relationship, or your competition even?
You know, in the current society, the term bestie in the youth, it is something that means friends with benefits.
So you agree?
I agree. And to some people, bestie is a word they use. They have this friend, this is a friend I can share. We have this feeling, but it is non-sexual, non-romantic. So I am able to share this and this with her. She's my bestie. And but at some point, the bestie name will outgrow. Whatever the outcome will be, it will be no longer.
So where do we draw the line and say, you know, let it not grow to something else? Where does the line come in?
The line now comes into what are we talking about? What are we sharing? If we share things that will trigger our emotions, it will be more platonic, but now bestie.
Yeah.
And the slogan that goes bestie should be.
But let me just point this out. In some cases, you're having problems in a relationship, and you have to share it with the other person who is in question now, is whether it's a bestie or friends with benefits, or you know, a platonic relationship. Do you think right from the start, perhaps the intention is, I don't want to see her happy in that relationship so that she can leave and let her come and, you know, let's get into one with me myself? Is that something that you think can be the intention sometimes?
Not really, because if we are having that, we are talking in terms of platonic, right?
Yes.
If you're having that platonic relationship with a person, allow me to use Fred, I guess Fred is not after maybe having me as personal person, like personal person, because he already knows I'm having a relationship somewhere. But we also have a relationship with him in terms of what we share.
Yes.
And I mean, do not misquote me when I say what we share. It's in terms of emotion. It's in terms of my darkest part of my life, because sometimes we fear to get judged. And that is something that people don't understand there in the community. We fear being judged. And the moment that you are in that relationship with your guy or with your girlfriend, speaking about some stuff will be like, if I tell this guy about my other side of the story, he might be judging me. But if I'm able to open up to a person like Fred, then the weight is lifted.
Doesn't that, you know, put your relationship at jeopardy?
No, I don't think it should put you at jeopardy. Because I get you, because you're putting it like there is a third party in that relationship.
Yes, exactly.
I get you, because that's what we are hinting at. But it doesn't put, if it's all about my mental health, remember, I'm willing to do anything for my mental health. If it's something that is disturbing me and someone is not ready to understand me, I'm ready to look for solutions to lift my weight. Yeah.
Now, Fred, let me bring you in here. Melody says it's a gradual process. You can't just jump straight into being platonic. You must have been friends first. And then slowly by slowly, you say, now this person, he's more than a friend. So you graduated to platonic relationship. My question is, what happens if your feelings start to grow out of you or out of him or out of her, in the case for you now, and you start to find yourself say, I love him, not in the friendship way, but in a romantic relationship way. So what happens at that point? Do you now have to call the other person, sit down and say, okay, now this is what I'm feeling, or what happens now?
No, when you start having feeling for the person, you yourself, you're supposed to be in a position of telling her that we've been friends for this period of time. And as the time goes, this is what I'm having. I'm having now a different feeling. It is good to share out for her now in the platonic relationship. Because when she doesn't know, you'll be endangering the relationship. But when you share, at least you have the breakdown of it. Like she's not like you're hiding things from her. But you are sharing it out. And again, when it comes to a point where I'm again having the feeling of being in love, if she doesn't know, it is my duty to again inform her and ask her if she also is having the same. And maybe what can we do about it? The question of what can we do about it is a general information that it will make both parties at equilibrium.
What if she doesn't feel the same?
The same question, what can you do about it? You'll agree on whatever you'll do. If again you just keep your feelings, you tell me you keep your feelings for yourself. Our relationship ends at this point. Our talk, or rather our conversation, should end at this point. So if you are having a feelings, it will ruin our friendship, and the trust will now be broken. Kabisa.
Melody, does it ruin the whole idea of platonic the moment feelings are involved?
At some point, it's gonna ruin, because personally, I'll see you as a normal person as we used to talk. But as for him, maybe for example, for him, he's seeing me in a different way. So if there is that confusion, then definitely it's gonna get ruined. But remember, in this platonic, you have to be alert all the time. For me, I put it like you have to be alert, because when we decided like it's a journey, we were friends, and then it gradually grew. There's rules and conditions we outlaid, and we said we are going to do this and this. We should not be involved in this and this, because we have personal life. You have personal life, but we are here for mutual benefits. That is in terms of whatever that has brought us together, but not anything to do with romantic stuff. So it has to be always alert. You don't have to sleep in that relationship. Your mind is always alert for you not to fall into, let me call them, temptations. Yeah.
If I may in platonic, at some point, the other party might be in a relationship. And that should be a standard way, a standard line that should not be crossed. You know, when she's my platonic friend and she is in a relationship, there are just automatic boundaries that she's in love. Our friendship is to this point. And back in my mind, there is nothing that can grow from this our platonic, because she is in love. And if also she is free with her boyfriend to tell him that, you know, babe, I am a friend of this kind, and our friendship is of this and this. Let me say, I always free when you're in a platonic relationship. So you're going to tell your boyfriend that I have this man, and he is my friend up to this level. Are you free to do so?
Yeah. Because I don't think we should hide my other platonic relationship. I'll not be free and I'll not be safe. I'll just always be like, anytime that I have something that is up, he'll be like, you're acting suspicious, so what is wrong? To always put him in the situation like, it's not like I'm cheating, but he is a friend. But at the same time, the society is so weird and so funny because people will judge you. And he is part of that society. So if he's not a man that is going to understand you, then you'll have issues like now and forever.
Yeah, because that is where the problem lies in a relationship with the partner, because the partners are the ones who always raise the questions. And particularly, perhaps both of you are on Twitter, you'd understand, because just the way men hate the fact that a woman can be so free with another man who's not them, it just brings the whole, problem. So, does it give us the liberty to say, I do not want to be in any platonic relationship of some sort for the case of my boyfriend, my girlfriend, or my partner? Does it give us the liberty to do that?
If you are in such a relationship and then you don't have that liberty, I would call that relationship of yours toxic.
Insecurities, yeah?
Yeah, in insecurities, because you're supposed to understand that definitely before you met me I had friends, and there is no way that we were in a platonic relationship with Fred and then I get to meet you and we are in a relationship now together and I have to drop him just because we are together, you see. So he has to be understanding. It's all about the notion of the community right now, of which they might change, they might not change. At the same time, you have to balance the relationship that you have and the platonic one, because in both sides you're benefiting.
Yeah. Is it that easy, Fred? Yeah.
For a man, the ladies are so much jealous that agreeing that Hemston is having a bestie, or rather a platonic friend, she won't understand that this is platonic. She will say, okay, now that you are going to her. You're going to share your information with her, now that you cannot share them with me. How am I not free with you and we're in a relationship? The jealousy of ladies sometimes make us men.
But men also get jealous, don't they?
Definitely.
At some point as ladies.
Oh, come on. I think men can be very jealous, to be honest. Men can be so jealous. It's just that how they express it perhaps is what the difference comes in.
When a man is jealous, he will go and tell another man, not the lady. This is my lady, she's doing this, this, and this. And indeed, it is true that we are jealous. But the extent ladies are jealous, even the nitty-gritty things, you cannot say because it will just trigger them. They are noisy.
That crops up the idea of you prefer having male friends who are in a platonic relationship rather than women because of the jealousy.
As I said before.
But I guess for us women, we are open-minded, and that is where we get the difference. And at the end of it all, you get that we do not understand each other when it comes if we are dating.
When the lady go and pause out of a platonic friend, when in a case where the lady's relationship has been broken, she's broken, and she goes to the platonic friend, at number one, her intention will be to punish that one that has broken and has broken. And whatever thing she will do is to make that man jealous. And for that, it will ruin the platonic relationship that you'll be having. Because this man is somebody who has been listening to you. He has been giving you an ear, a shoulder to lean on with information in the mental health status. So when you go to him and tell him that me and my boy, this and this happened, and now we are no longer, in your heart you try to make that man to regret losing you. And for that regret nature, you'll go to maybe your bestie or your platonic friend, because you are very free with this your platonic friend more than your bestie, right? And so if you go to him, give me a shoulder to lean on.
Yeah. Now, I'd love to really know, if you're talking about platonic relationships and it's more than just being friends, why can't we just keep it to the same gender? I can have Melody here as my bestie and just that's it. Or Fred can have another Ian as bestie and just that's it.
Definitely, we can do that. We can do that, and maybe most of the people in the society can do that, and maybe they have people of the same gender, but at the same time, people are different. Personally, I would like have a male who is open to me. I'm open to them. But before even we continue, I want to correct Fred, because Fred said, Fred said that if you're having issues in my relationship, I'll go to my platonic other, significant other, in terms of punishing my other partner. You see, but I really don't understand if that will be platonic. If my mindset is punishing him, I'll be out of the I'll be out of the platonic. And remember, in platonic we had rules. Now it depends on that platonic person. If he still remembers the rules, like if I've come to offer you a shoulder to lean on, it's a shoulder to lean on, but not to punish your guy, you see. So that's why in all this I said you have to be alert all the time in that relationship. You guys should be alert like never before, just not fall into temptations.
So now let's look at it this way. If it can graduate from friendship to platonic, are there chances that something goes wrong in the platonic relationship and then you go back to friendship, or is it now like, it's just the end, there's no way can now go back to being friends? Is there something that like that can happen, Fred?
Now, once it's broken, going back is difficult. Very difficult.
How so? I mean, we can still just be friends, yeah?
You can still be friends, yes. But the initial role has already been broken. Like, what if you do it again? I forgave you the first time. What if you do it again? We as human beings, we are prone to temptations. Things we utter, things we do may trigger our emotion to act. And so, once it is broken, maintaining it at friendship level, it might go back down from the foundation, from friendship, as it grows upwards.
Does it depend why this platonic relationship is ending? Are the reasons why a factor in whether this can go back to being a friendship or completely breaking away from each other?
Before even I answer, he said if it's broken, maybe you can give us a highlight of what ways did it break, for us to determine if it's done we can never be, or just it was maybe once, twice, but since we were friends and it's a journey, we can still continue with our journey. But when you said it's being broken, in what terms do you mean it?
I don't say being broken, but when the trust is broken, like let's say we were in a platonic relationship, and the rules and regulations that were in place have surpassed some rules. Not once, maybe twice. And you forgive me maybe the first time, the second time, then again it happens. It won't happen on me alone. It will be us. It will be us. We were not supposed to do this, and we did it. How can we do it? How can we avoid it? But once it has passed, the body and the mind together, they'll be just working towards the same direction. Like anytime there's a problem, when you come and give a shoulder to lean on, these are the steps. When you come, it will be no longer, the boundary will be no longer there. That's why I'm saying it's now broken, it is no longer platonic.
Now in the platonic relationship, does jealousy ever at any point come in? You're jealous of how he's relating with somebody else or how she's relating with somebody else. Is jealousy a factor in platonic relationships?
Personally, I would say yes.
It is?
It is.
So if it is, then it's not platonic, is it?
I would say, okay, let me defend myself. We have boundaries, right? At the same time, this is a person that I trust. I trust you with everything that I'm sharing with.
Yes.
You get? And at the same time, you have someone else who comes to share with you. Jealousy comes in terms of maybe the time that it was limited for me to come and share, and the time that we are spending with you inakuwa limited, like it's broken into some other time. I'm not getting the same time that I used to get, just because you have another person, a platonic person, that is coming to share with you. That's where my jealousy comes in. Not jealousy in other terms.
Yeah, you seem to disagree.
Yeah, he still disagrees.
When it is platonic, by definition, there is love.
Yeah.
There is caring. And so I don't know where jealousy will come in when I also care for another person the same way I care for you. The same way you trust me with the information is the same way she will trust me with her information. And in a platonic relationship, we are free. Hakuna pressure. Like you will not do this, you will not do this. You are free. Because there is no law that guides you not to go to another person. Unlike to romantic relationship, where there is a boundary, I'm fine kwenda na so and so up to this end, up to this level. So jealousy in a platonic relationship,
it shouldn't be there. But let me ask this. Are you trying to say, Fred, that I can be in so many platonic relationships at the same time?
Not necessarily so many. But
how many then?
For me, as a mental health therapist, I would say that I might be having so many people, so many clients that trust me with the information. And you know, number one rule for maybe psycho-counseling is confidentiality. Once you trust me with the information, and I also make you believe that your information is free with me, is deeply kept inside me, no one else will know. I don't think there is any other way that will prevent me from getting to another person.
But that's a professional way, you know.
Thank you.
Aside from the profession, Melody, it's now me and you in this room. Is it possible that Melody or Cynthia or Fred can be in so many platonic relationships at the same time, such that these people are coming to share with you as much as you share with them? Is that something that is practical?
At an extent, yes. But you'll be like a sponge. You'll be just absorbing. And thank you for bringing up the mental health issue. Because if you brought that in, means that all your clients, you are in a platonic thin kind of relationship, because you're just absorbing their issues.
How much damage does that do to you? Because it's just you taking in from all angles in a platonic relationship, you know, sharing so much. How much damage does that do to you? Because, you know, you're so emotionally, I'd say, intimate with this guy, with these people, all at the same time, you know. It seems to be so straining, because they all need your attention at some point. You need to give them equal attention so that no one feels like, no, we don't value them, you're neglecting them at some point. How much does that really damage?
It's totally going to damage you. That is if you're having like lots of platonic relationship, just because I'm always here for you to come and bring your issues, you get. But I guess to me, I was for the thing of two-way traffic. Like if I'm getting that platonic kind of person, then it's not many, it's just one. Because let me ask you, Fred, how many people can you trust with your secrets? With your darkest desire, with your darkest secrets? How many?
Very limited number.
Thank you. So let us put it to maybe one. You see, maybe one, because so we fear, if I get to talk to you, Cynthia, you're a friend of mine, you'll get, Melody told me something, this and this. But if I tell Fred is like, it's only me and me. With this road, we walk together. And if he has an issue, he'll face me. But if you're having several platonic relationship, let me tell you, your mental health will be worse, not even worse, will be the worst, because you'll be just absorbing issues, and you do not have someone to pour to. Because if you have someone to pour to, you'll also tell me, like, you are a mental health person, I'll just be like that person, just go to someone else and look for help. And if I'm looking for help, I'll share all the issues that they may absorb. So how safe are our issues?
Platonic is like a mother-child relationship.
Thank you.
And a mother can have 3 to 4 kids.
Okay.
It's like a counselor, maybe a client relationship. A counselor can have 3 to more clients. And once there is trust, there is nothing else that can prevent you from having another platonic friend. And me, as a person, as an individual, if I have issues, out of these my friends, there is also another, I'll choose one. Maybe because I cannot go to all of them. I cannot go to, so I'll just choose one, like, so and so, this is what is happening to me. This is what I'm going through. How can I help it? It is a relationship that, okay, in your way, you want it to be a two-way traffic.
Yeah.
Because yours is controlled by jealousy, as she said. But in my case, I might have a number. That if I share with you this, what am I going to get? I trust with your information, I trust with mine. There is no difference when I also trust her with my information, she trusts her with mine.
At the end of it all, how do you get to control all this trusting of information?
You know, when I go to a person, that means already there's a connection, there's a trust. So if I tell Cynthia my problem, by the time I'm telling her my problem, she will be at a position of helping me because she's the one that I've gone to. Or maybe if I realize Cynthia cannot handle this particular situation that I'm handling, I'll go to you, Melody. Like, now this is what I'm going through. So maybe based on how they can handle the situation. Now talking of situationship, based on how it can
situation.
Based on how it can be handled. No, let me tell you, there are things that a certain friend can help, and there are things that same friend cannot solve in this society of today. There are challenges you can help me solve, and also there are some you cannot. So the matter of them being many is now not necessarily that they're supposed to be many. It is supposed to be maybe 2, 3, if more, not so many.
Now, go ahead.
Before you continue, Cynthia, I want him as a specialist. Thank you for bringing it up. At what point do Cynthia and I graduate from friendship to platonic? Because if you have an issue, you can share with her. If she can't solve that issue, you will come to me without involving jealousy. Now, at what time did we graduate, or at what time should people get to notice?
At a point where now, you know, in platonic, you care. And this is the major thing, love and care. When you care for my emotions, will be now from friends to that level of platonic. Because platonic is non-sexual, non-romantic. That is the relationship. So it doesn't have to be like I have to have this one single person, or maybe our friendship can just grow. The same way it grew between me and you, it's the same way it grew between me and Cynthia. I don't see the difference.
As we wind up, because we are almost out of time, both of you are mental health advocates, and that is something so critical, particularly for people, not just platonic, relationships, but also friendship, but also romantic relationships. And from what I picked from you, Melody, communication is key. You just need to tell the other person at what point is this a friendship, so that let's avoid a lot of drama. You're in a platonic relationship, you're seeing all these wrong signs. You think, oh, now he's interested in me, so now it's a romantic relationship. So this communication is so key, so that we avoid a lot of drama. People out here, somebody says, I thought you loved me. The other one says, I do, but not in the way you think I love you. So what do you tell young people, like us or like me and like you, who just don't know how to communicate. You know, they just don't know how to put their needs forward. They don't know how to tell this other person, this is what I want, but I can only give this to this point, nothing beyond that. How do we communicate?
Severally, there are ways in which you can do that. Whenever I'm talking to the young youths, there are people who are not good in communicating, to voicing out their issues, you get. But we have ways like writing down. Doesn't take you that long.
A letter or a message?
Anything that it's a means of communication. Like I have to communicate. I have to tell you like this and this doesn't work for me. It also has the idea of maybe getting someone who's going to help you, bringing someone in. I know he's going to beat me up because of saying about the jealousy, because the jealousy is going to get in. But at the same time, bringing in someone else that is going to help you talk. Because you get most of the time, in these times that we are living, youths do not know how to voice up.
Yes.
They do not know how to bring up whatever they are passing through. But why do not get an extra mileage of getting someone who is going to help you? Why don't you just maybe put it in writing and talk and give it to that person? Because at the end of it all, it's all about you. It's all about your mental health, and you have to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the ways is writing a message. What other ways are there as we wind it up?
And a way of how someone can bring up to a certain person to be helped. I would say that once we are in a closeness, once there is closeness, there is this thing that called connection that is now there. When let's say I want you to give me your information, I will have to build trust so that you may be able to talk. If you're not in a position to talk, that means there is fear. And the number one process that we have to remove this fear, because sometimes we will not write everything. Sometimes you might not indicate. You'll just do a summary. But you have to know the root cause of this problem. You have to know how did it start and how is it going. So for it to be discussed, you have to be at a position of talking. So building trust. When we build trust with each other, you'll be at a position to now share freely. Like not only that, but also this. I can only write this, but the not only will not be there. We'll just be getting a limited, and now helping that person because you don't have the all information from the foundation will be very difficult. So I say that let's build trust before we get to a point of sharing deep information.
Trust is important.
Trust is important and respect. Once I trust you, I respect you.
There's a viewer who says hakuna kitu nachukia kama relationship ya mabesti. And I think that is one thing that maybe we must demystify. If I'm in a romantic relationship with Fred and I keep on telling people, you know, Fred is my bestie, people quote it in such a wrong way, and it is so much exaggerated. We need to demystify that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should. As I said, I don't have to hide my platonic friend, right? But at the same time, the term of bestie, it's misquoted in the society. I can't just shout like, hey, Fred is normally my bestie. People will be like, kumbe. And I'm like, no, I don't mean that. But by the time you're saying I don't mean that, like, it's all over. Everyone has misquoted you. But I guess we have to work on that. I don't know if we have to come up with another name of this platonic person, because coming up with telling someone about, hey, he's my platonic, is like, Sasa, what do you mean by platonic? But I guess we need another name of like, this is my personal person that I can rely on, you see.
So thank you so much for both of you coming in. Sutcliffe Imbai has been watching. Kate Iren says tuned in from Nakuru. Thank you so much. Felix Kavoy, the CEO, says watching. Asante sana. We also have Butuwere, who is watching as well. So I'd love to give you both 10 seconds each to just, you know, the final one. 10 seconds, Fred.
Okay, thank you. On platonic and friendship, what I can say is that, as just I said, when there is trust, there is friendship, there is platonic. And the word bestie, I wouldn't promote it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wouldn't promote it. It is destroying very many youths.
Yeah.
Because the word bestie, people are judgmental.
Yeah.
We're living in a judgmental society where you cannot say a term and everybody remains silent. So define your friendship.
Yeah.
That is what I can say. Define your friendship.
Yeah, define your friendship.
As for me, for the sake of your mental health and for the sake of your well-being, if it means getting that platonic friend, even if you are in a relationship, my dear, look for that person that you trust and you can share your issues with, because at the end of it all, when daughter suffer, you're the one who's going to suffer, not your significant other. So always go for your mental health.
Indeed, thank you so much, Hemstone Fred on my immediate right and Melody Wanjiru on the farthest right. Thank you for both of you coming in. I feel so powerful sitting in the midst of young people who are mental health advocates. Good job, you're doing it. And so thank you to all who have been watching and your feedback that has been coming in. But remember, we can keep the conversation going on our social media.